So now we're going to solve this three-variable system by substitution. Step one is to solve one of the equations for one of its variables. So we're going to choose the first one because it's the simplest. When we isolate y from the first equation, we get y equals 2z minus 2. The next thing we're going to do is take the expression that we found to equal y and substitute it into the other two expressions for that same variable y. Step two is to substitute that expression into the other two equations, and then we're going to simplify and we'll get a subset that we want to solve for both of its variables. After we simplify the two equations that we substituted 2z minus 2 in for y, we get a new subsystem of x plus 2z equals 8 and 2x plus 3z equals 16, and we're going to solve that for both x and z. I'm going to solve the subsystem by the substitution method as well to reinforce the steps. Remember that step one was to solve one of the equations for one of the variables. So I solved that first equation for x, and I got the expression 8 minus 2z. So now I'll take that 8 minus 2z and plug it into the other equation for x. You should notice that all the variables in this equation are now just z. So we'll be able to solve this equation for z. When I combine negative 4z and positive 3z, I get negative z. Now here I'm going to use the addition property of equality and the subtraction property of equality at the same time to rearrange some of these variables and constants. And when I do that, I get 0 equals z. Now we'll substitute 0 in for z into one of the original equations of the subsystem. So I'm going to choose to substitute it right here. And I simplify and I get x equals 8. Now we'll substitute x equals 8 and z equals 0 back into one of the original equations and solve for y. Now that I've done that, I'm going to simplify and figure out the value of y. Now that I have the value of all three variables, I am finished solving this three-variable system by substitution, and I'm going to write my solution as an ordered triple. X equals 8, y equals negative 2, and z equals 0. So my ordered triple is 8, negative 2, 0. And if I were to substitute each one of those values back into each one of these original three equations, they would all be true.